Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. I hope all is well. If this is your first time tuning in, hello, hi, thank you, welcome. Please follow us on YouTube at Inappropriate Radio TV. Alright. No alien talk, no periodic table talk. However, you already know the creator came through with a message. Alright. So, first of all, the creator wanted me to say this. If you are of God, you should, at a certain level in your journey, be able to tell when other people are divinely connected or when situations are being divinely orchestrated. You should not be out here judging people. There is nothing going on in your life that is so perfect that you get to sit high and judge people as if you are the creator. If God is telling you to make an assessment in a situation, maybe it's something that seems like rare at the surface. Maybe you don't fully understand what needs to be conveyed or taken away from a person or a situation. That's one thing, right? Even if it's like a harsh lesson for someone, you should be able to tell that it is from God, especially if you are truly walking with the creator. Now, if you are still caught up in the world, if you're still doing things that doesn't fully reflect the creator in his presence, that's fine, right? But if you have a heart that has been fine-tuned by God, if you are obedient to the voice of the creator, if you are tapped into God in any kind of way, if you have agreed to use your gifts to help God, not to help God, but to be of assistance to God and to walk in a rightful, righteous energy and frequency, you should be able to look at a situation or a person and tell if whatever they are doing, experiencing, the disposition, even if it's nasty and no one likes them, even if they seem hateful or if they seem whatever, you should be able to look at a person or a situation and determine if it is of God or not. If you cannot do that, then something is off with your own frequency, and you need to tap in and find out exactly what is going on with you and why can't you calibrate a frequency coming from another person. And when I say calibrate, I mean be able to look at it as God being at the center and move on. If you can't do that, something's wrong with you, okay? A lot of people are out here being judgmental and they're like condemning God's people, when if you yourself had an appropriate relationship with the creator, then you would be able to determine that it is actually something from God. No one has the gavel but the creator, right? None of us have the gavel. God has given us a level of discernment where we would be able to make certain judgment calls, where we would be able to say, okay, I need to walk away from this situation. I need to stick with this situation. I need to learn from this situation. I need to pour into this situation. Like, you should be able to have reached a level of discernment that will tell you if you need to back off of people or if you need to straddle them. Okay? And no one should be able to tell you that. You should be using your own spirituality, your own understanding, your own senses to make the determination on whether God is in the middle of something, whether God is attached to something, whether God is at the front or the back of something. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a situation, a person, a place. Sometimes God just comes through and cleans shop. We attribute so much to the devil and we give the devil and demons so much credit, but we forgot that God created everything. God is more chaotic than the devil can ever be. The chaos and the peace requires balance, right? The love and the peace and the harmony and the protection and all of that good stuff that comes from God. It just as loving and as caring and protective as God can be, he can be hellish as hell as well for those who are deserving of it. So stop thinking that the devil is so powerful that he can cause so much chaos that God cannot be on top of it, that God cannot stop it, that God is not there allowing it to happen, because this thing needs to happen in order for some things to occur in the midst of it or after it is all said and done. We need to realize that we are little spectacles in this big old world. Okay? We are spectacles in all of this. And a lot of the things that we contribute our energy to, it's not necessarily worthy of our energy. It's not really worthy of our attention. It's not really worthy of our expertise, of our prayer even. Because sometimes we get into these situations where we like to remove things by prayer, and we like to ask God to use his might to remove things or to bring things in. And it's just crazy, all right? So we have to learn how to identify when God is orchestrating something, no matter how messy it looks or feels or appears on the surface, okay? Now, people are being summoned. I guess this is a dual message, I guess. Yeah, I guess this is a dual message. All right. People are summoning you. You have to be careful. I mean, on a Bloody Mary Candyman type of summons, okay? I was looking at a tarot card reading, and actually this lady has been on point for at least a couple of years now. But this particular summoning is going to allow us to be at the threshold of confusion in God's work, okay? A lot of people, cycles, things, ideas, thoughts, whatever it is that are from past cycles are trying to represent themselves in a different packaging, right? Whether they're sending their spirit in the form of another vessel, whether they themselves are just trying to come back around, or whether you are entertaining the idea of calling them or having them back into your life as you have thrust into this new energy, right? It's a summons. It's a summons. It's a summons. You're being conjured. You are being, and we talked about this before about sometimes how people would like masturbate and call your name or call on to your frequency, right? And it is basically them summoning you. But this is something a little different. It's getting out of control, right? So aside from these rituals, because masturbating and imagining a person or saying their name is a ritual, people are using pictures. They're writing your name down. They're actually even saying your name out into the universe, hoping that it will somehow align you with them. Don't fall for it. If the Creator removes something, if you had to struggle with something being removed, if you had to ask God and pray to God to remove it out of your life, and especially if it's not something that is no longer in alignment with you, if God wanted to remove it because it was impeding on your process of growing, impeding on the ability for the Creator to step in, impeding on your ability to step in what God is calling you to step into, it's a problem. Okay, and you need to shed it, and you need to lock it out, and you need to understand that anything that God wants for you is going to be threaded in a way that you can't shake it, that you can't ignore it, in a way that it will grow with you. Okay, the things that are meant to be in your life and a part of your journey will be growing with you. Sometimes things that were a part of our lives, or people that were a part of our lives in ways that was unhealthy. Like, they're meant to be there, but it's an unhealthy communication, or it's an unhealthy connection. God will reveal that to you. You know the things that are cancerous and toxic to your auric field. No one has to tell you what it is that you need to actually be letting go of, okay? No one has to tell you that. You are pretty aware, okay, of what God is trying to tell you to release in order to get into the next phase and stage. And this is not just things. This is environments. This is people. This is thoughts, right? Your mindset. This is your frequency. This is how you respond to things. This is how you operate in the world all together. You need to be willing to understand that some things need to be let go in full in order for you to get to where you're going, okay? A lot of these things that we call ourselves holding on to, they are summoning us, okay? They are reaching out to us in spirit in a very ritualistic manner, meaning it's not organic, right? Rituals are being done to keep you in line with people. So I'm telling you that although you may feel like something is, good, you need to check in with the Creator to make sure it's something that is supposed to be in your auric field. If you have been spiritually ascending, if you have been making the appropriate changes that are required to step into your calling, to receive your blessings, to shift your energy, anything like that, okay? If God has made it obvious that you need to shake off certain things and certain people, and He will confirm that by blessing you with something that you have not only been praying for, but it's something that you need, okay? See, some of the things we ask for, we don't necessarily need it, okay? But the things that you ask for and receive, once you receive those things, after you have cut certain things off, certain people, remove yourself from certain mindsets, enhance your thinking patterns, then that is God's way of letting you know, okay, you don't need those things. You let them go. And I'm rewarding you by giving you X, Y, and Z, whatever X, Y, and Z may be. Okay. You have to be able to make the determination to say, do I really need this thing out of my life? Now, sure, some things can vibrate higher and realign themselves with you, but you have to really be sure and ask yourself, is this something God is blessing me with, or am I wanting it so bad that it's reappearing? Or am I vibrating low enough now that it can come back into my auric field? Or is it something that I really need to just let go because I'm holding on to it so much that it's following me wherever I'm going? You have to know and make the difference. Hopefully, if you've been vibrating high enough on a particular frequency, then you have been releasing things that are no longer serving you and that are actually toxic to your auric field. They're polluting your auric field. Okay? You have to know. You have to know. It's up to you. God is not a broken record. In fact, God will actually be silent and go ghost on you and stop communicating when you are just not listening and not hearing, and He will allow you to get it on your own once He has to keep repeating certain things over and over. Some things need to be repeated because sometimes we believe that we have something special with these things, or sometimes these things once were special and they were gifted by God, but we are out of those cycles and patterns. You have to know the difference, okay? Don't short yourself and don't trick yourself out of your own spot. All right, but I'm going to end it here. I do hope you guys have been enjoying your weekends. I hope you guys are doing all that is required to stay blessed. Hope you're drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea because it's free. Love y'all.